Hey guys, welcome back to Grafting Dragon Fruit. It's Richard, and in this video today, I'm going to be showing you guys the new type of soil that I'm going to be using to grow dragon fruit. And I'm going to be demonstrating how I'm going to be planting new dragon fruit cuttings in this soil. So make sure you guys watch it to the very end. This is the new soil that I will be using to grow dragon fruit. The soil is called Gary's Best Topsoil. So if you're in Southern California like me and you live in the area of Tustin or Anaheim, this is where you're gonna find his soil, and it's in his store called Laguna Hill Nursery. And Gary Matsuoka is actually the owner, so that's why his name is on it, Gary's Best Topsoil. He created this soil because there has been this dilemma with growers growing with soil that's listed as all organic, but after watching the segment video with Charles from IV Organic and Gary Matsuoka, he actually talks about why it's important to use a permanent soil that's not all organic, and the benefits of using a soil like Gary's Best, because it mainly consists of pumice, peat moss, sand, and charcoal, and all of these matter does not decompose over time. So if you guys get a chance, I'm gonna link that link below, because Gary and Charles have a discussion, and it's just a great discussion of his soil and why it's being used and why it's such a great permanent soil for a container. So once you use this soil, you're not gonna have to replace any other type of soil in your pot, and your plants are going to be super happy with it. So I came across this soil when I spoke with Charles from IV Organic about 3 or 4 years ago. I did a collaboration with him. He asked me, hey Rich, have you ever heard of Gary's Best Topsoil? And at that time, I was experimenting and using Ocean Forest Fox Farm soil at the time. So I wasn't really looking into it because it was growing so well for me already. So after 4 or 5 years later, I get this winter rot that happens to me almost every year, depending on how wet our winter is. If it rains a lot, I'm gonna stumble upon some root rot. And that was just getting so frustrating for me. I didn't want to deal with it anymore, even though my dragon fruits was growing so great during spring and summer. But once winter hit, I had to be a little bit more diligent and careful. So that is why now I'm switching to Gary's Best Topsoil, mainly because during the winter time, I was just getting these root rots. I was having new grafts that were growing and making really good progress, and then the winter rot would come and just destroy them. So this way, now I want to try this, so that way I don't stumble upon that problem again. And I'm not going to be that person that bashes on Ocean Forest Fox Farm. If you already use it, I'm going to give you guys a solution on how to improve your soil with Gary's Best. When I spoke with Gary Matsuoka, he said that if you already grow with Ocean Forest Fox Farm, all you have to do is keep topping your soil with Gary's Best Topsoil. And what that's gonna do is, over time, your Fox Farm Ocean Forest is gonna decompose, it's gonna, go away, and Gary's Best will eventually be replace with all of that Ocean Forest Fox Farm that you have by just putting this onto the top. Because it's not an organic matter and it doesn't decompose, your Gary's Best will just keep on staying in there as your other old soil, Ocean Forest, depletes away. So if you guys are already growing Ocean Forest Fox Farm, this is a really great way to start replacing your soil that doesn't cost a lot of money. If you just want to go ahead and start over and just use only Gary's Best Topsoil to get a really good head start, feel free to do it. But the cheaper way is, and this comes from Gary Matsuoka himself, just add Gary's Best Topsoil to the top of your pot, and over time it will replenish all of the other soil and be replaced by Gary's Best Topsoil. Okay, so that's a little bit of why I am switching over and what to do if you're already using the Ocean Forest Fox Farm soil. So that's it. Now all that's left is to plant new cuttings into this soil to see how it does during the winter time. And of course, I'm gonna be giving you guys updates how well this new soil is doing for me and if it's worth the transition over. So let's go ahead and get planting. First step is to have your complete trellis built, so that way you can add it into your container. So many of you guys have always asked me this question: what size container do I use to grow dragon fruit? Before, I've used 20 gallons for all of my trellises here, but now that I'm moving on to this permanent soil, I also want a permanent pot. So I've upgraded this pot here to 25 gallons. So before, I've always grown in 20 gallons, and they do absolutely amazing in 20 gallons. And I've kind of shied away from 25 gallons is because I didn't want to spend more money on soil. But because dragon fruit grows so vigorously and the roots sometimes can just grow insane and get out of the pot, I'm gonna go ahead and now just upsize it to 25 gallons. And another reason why I'm going to 25 gallons is if you guys check out my trellis here, there's a cement block here. So this does also take some room away from the 20-gallon pot. So upgrading to a 25-gallon now can give me back all of that space that was used up by the cement block in the 20 gallons. So that's why I'm using 25 gallons now. But there's nothing wrong with growing in 20 or 25 gallons. For me, I just want more space, more root space. That means more growth and more fruit. So that's why I'm going to 25 gallons. Okay, so that's the pot. Now let's get our trellis in. And if you guys don't have a trellis yet, I have a video of that on my channel. So make sure you guys check that out before you guys get to this part. And then so you can start planting dragon fruit successfully. All right, first thing to do is get this as center as possible. The soil down here is a little lopsided, so you're gonna see my trellis flopping around a bit. But as I move it to an area where it's more centered, it will start to straighten back up. So once you have that in the center, the next thing to do is add some soil into your pot. So that way you can start getting the trellis nice and stable. Have my box cutter here. And let's take a look at this Gary's Best. Here it is, you guys. So it almost looks like Fox Farm, but without all of that organic debris. It's mostly sand, charcoal, pumice, peat moss, and we also got some perlite in there. And this is a great way to keep everything aerated. And sand drains very, very well. If you guys are ever at the beach and you guys pour water in the sand, you can see that the water just disappears right away. So that's my thinking of why I like the Gary's Best so much, because it's mainly sand. So it's gonna drain all of that water during the winter a lot better than the ocean forest Fox Farm. All right, enough talk, guys. Let's go ahead, pour this bag in, and let's see how many bags we're gonna need to fill up a whole 25-gallon pot. First bag is it's gonna be all dumped in here. And if you guys are curious of how much this soil costs, it's about $20 a bag for 1 cubic feet. And if you guys buy 5 or more, you get 10% off. And if you guys buy 20 or more, you guys get another 5%, so a total of 15% off. So that gives you guys an idea of how much this soil costs. But like again, it's not cheap because this type of soil lasts forever. So just imagine paying for something that you're gonna be using permanently, so that way you don't have to feel too bad about paying so much for dirt. I'm gonna pour one more bag in because I still see the cement block and I just wanna make sure everything's elevated. It's looking good. Okay, it's still a little bit too low for me. I wanted to get about up here, a little bit over half. So I think one more bag is gonna do the trick. Here we go. All right, so 3 bags. Looks like it's gonna be just perfect for us to grow our dragon fruit in a 25-gallon pot. So we used about 3 cubic feet of soil. I'm very satisfied and happy with the amount I have in here. This is more than enough. And guess what, you guys? It's gonna stay at this level forever because it's not organic and doesn't have a bunch of just organic compost in here. It's just gonna stay like this and it's gonna be beautiful. All right, so guys, so let me show you guys the cuttings that I'm gonna be using. I have here Wild Berry Skittles. So this variety is a Edgar Valdivia hybrid, which I grew from seed once he gave it to me. And once it fruited, I named it Wild Berry Skittles. So it was hybridized by Edgar Valdivia and grown by me. And now we have a variety called Wild Berry Skittles. Tastes just like candy and the flower is absolutely beautiful. Love it so much that I want to have another pot of it with just this variety only. So let's go ahead and plant this in. So what I did before actually even getting these cuttings planted was I pre-rooted it. So I left it in a bucket of water. I used some rooting hormone called Hormix. And just check out the roots on this, you guys. This is what you want before you guys plant into established trellis. So if you guys want to root your cuttings, do it in water or put it in a 1-gallon pot and get it to root before you guys put it into established trellis. So that way you guys know that it's already rooted and all you guys have to do is put it outside in the sun and watch it grow. So I'm gonna have that video actually releasing soon on how to root dragon fruit in bulk. So keep an eye out and stay tuned for that video, okay guys? And also, you're gonna wanna have your garden tape. This is just gonna help secure everything. So once it's nice and tight, they grow and climb a lot better. So first step, you guys, is just make yourself a nice little hole here, about 1 inch deep. And you want the dragon fruit roots to just be right under that, not too much of the flesh. Okay, we have 1 cutting. Gonna go ahead now, get the next one ready. So when I plant dragon fruit cuttings, there's always 3 sides. Sometimes there are 4 sides. But if you guys look at this side, it's completely flat on this side. And you guys look on this side, there's actually an angle that goes forward and then 2 sides on the left and right. So the flat side is the side that I always tend to plant my dragon fruit cuttings in. So I put it just like that. As you can see, I'm not actually touching the soil because I don't want it to go any deeper than what the roots are. And that's when I slightly just push the soil over, pat it down to make sure it's nice and tight. So that way, when I'm ready, I can get the tape and tape everything so it doesn't top over like this. You see how it's already trying to do that? Just tighten the soil a little bit more so that once you're ready, you can go ahead and plant all of that with some tape. Here's another one. Again, you guys, flat side. We have our angular side there. Move just about 1 inch out. Kind of gauge where you guys are gonna want it. And once you see that, move your roots down there and just go ahead and plant it down. Okay, we have 1 last cutting of wild berry Skittles, and this is gonna complete our pot with 4 of the same varieties. Before, I used to really like growing different type of varieties in one trellis, and that was because there were so many varieties out there that I haven't tried yet. So I wanted to make sure I liked the variety enough before I committed to 4 of the same kind in the same pot. And once I've tasted most of the varieties, I know now exactly which ones I want to clone up, get some cuttings, and make a singular pot of the same variety. So wild berry Skittles is one of them. Asunta 6 is another one of them. Sour Patch Kids, Sour Patch Watermelon. Those are all really, really good ones that I really like. And last thing to do, you guys, is just get your garden tape now. And we're gonna make sure all of this is nice and secure to the posts. So if anybody accidentally bumps into it, or if you start spraying it and watering it and it actually hits the cuttings, it won't flop over and get dislodged from the soil. So this helps everything stay in one place. And as it grows, you're gonna want to add more garden tape as it gets bigger and bigger. But since it's at this stage, this is all I have to do. Make sure all of the soil is nice and leveled. And last but not least, we're gonna get some water and water this in, and then it's set. So let me grab the hose. All right, guys, we have our hose. Now let's get watering. So the soil doesn't need to be too wet because the roots just barely develop, so they're very shallow to the surface right now. So you wanna get just enough where it keeps those roots nice and moist so they don't dry up and become unhappy. You wanna make sure everything is hydrated so that way they can get a head start with all of that roots growing everywhere. And something like that is all you need. Okay, guys, and that is it. So that's a new type of soil that I'm gonna be using, Gary's Best Topsoil. Really excited to see how this soil performs for me here in my area, and excited to see how it's gonna rock and roll during the winter because I'm getting sick of the winter rot. So hopefully this fixes that solution, that fixes that problem, and hopefully that is the solution. So if it is, I'll give you guys more updates on it, especially with this pot here since you guys saw me already do it. So we'll get more updates during the winter on how this performs and then how it transitions over to the spring and summertime. If we get any sickness or any rot, I'll be showing you guys all of that, okay? Wow, you guys, it's literally been only about 20 seconds and look at how well this soil has drained all of that water already. Usually when I have new soil, it usually takes a lot more time for all of the pumice and peat moss to soak up the water and then start draining. But with this type of soil, within 10 to 20 seconds, it already drained all down. So that was really cool. Another thing is, if you're not from Southern California and you don't live near Laguna Hill Nursery, you can actually go to their website. You can go to lagunahillnursery.com, check out their website, call Gary and ask them how you can get his soil into your local nursery or local hydroponic store, and you can buy it from them. So if you're in another state, go to their website, call up Laguna Hills Nursery, ask them about your interest on Gary's Best Top Soil and see how they can get it into their local garden store so that way you guys can purchase. So that's a way that you guys can still get it even if you guys don't live in California. So I hope that information helps you guys acquire this new soil that I'm gonna be using. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, hit that like button. And if you guys have any questions or comments you guys want to drop below, go ahead and feel free to do that. And you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Grafting Dragon Fruit. See ya. Peace out.